So the one question I had around the Artifact Hub and creating like a chart museum off of the GitHub pages was the GitHub action, because we are poly repos for our microservices. If we just need to go and add the GitHub action to kind of push everything to the single GitHub pages site under the Ortelius/Ortelius repo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, except the annoying thing is I found out, you know how you had put a comment about the chart repo URL linking back to Ortelius thing?
Yeah.
That plugin annoyingly works the opposite way. So it doesn't push the individual repos to the Ortelius. What it does is it fetches Ortelius's index and puts it into the sub repo. So it worked the opposite of what I intended it to do. I wanted it to push its stuff to the main Ortelius repos index, but no, what it did was it fetched Ortelius's thing, appended its extra line in, and put it in its own Ortelius/MSUI, for example.
Right.
It's almost like I would need. It's gonna get messy because the way I can see how it works, I get the first poly repo, and that gets linked to the second poly, and it chains all the way down. And Ortelius, the big one, just picks the very last one. But that's just not ideal because you have a chain, and if you break one of the repos, it's gonna break the whole thing. So that's not so good.
Right. So I wonder if we're gonna need a hey Brad.
Hey, sorry, I had another meeting I just got out of.
Oh, no worries. We're just talking about the
GitHub action.
GitHub action.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're gonna need to do a create the index.yaml in each poly repo, and then do another step where we kind of push it and merge it with the main one on the Ortelius side.
I think so.
Agreed,
yeah. Maybe what do we want to write a little script of our own to do that, or
that's what I'm thinking.
Hard, right?
Yeah, I think we can. Well, the other thing we could do is I didn't look into that the GitHub actions that's doing the push is probably off of some open source project or some open source Git repo.
Yeah,
it is based off Helm itself. Yeah, they created that action. I believe it's a Go thing. I think it's a Golang plugin.
Yeah, I can we can write an issue, and then I can just write some code that will do that, because then I'd rather do it to theirs than make my own one, because then I've got to maintain it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm wondering,
we can spike that bin, and yeah, it's good that you know because the extra parameter that you gave us, I was thinking it did the same as well, but it just didn't. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't do what we wanted.
It was weird.
Yeah, it sounded good, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't see it being too difficult.
It looks like it's just a shell script, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the chart releaser itself, it's meant to be something that you run in the CLI. So the GitHub action calls a CLI tool. I'm not entirely sure. I believe the CLI tool is Golang, but I can't recall off the top of my head right now. The tool itself is the chart releaser CR something.
Right. So it looks like it's the chart releaser action is just a shell script that wrappers the CR program.
Yeah.
Correct.
So where's CR? What language is that?
CR, that's just the chart releaser, I think. As in just the alias for chart releaser.
Is that the Helm command for chart releaser?
No. So
I can't find. I see like
yeah, cr.sh. I'm just gonna put it in the chat. I know that you're probably looking at the same thing as me. Well, actually, why don't we just someone? I'll share my screen now
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
because then we don't have to. Can you see my code?
Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah.
found where
Yeah.
it is. If you keep going down,
Yeah. So let's look at the CRSH. So they have that in. They must do, right? There it is.
yeah, that's
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh, it's in
that's the
Go.
shell script. And then if you keep going down a little bit, it calls another program called CR.
Yeah, that's what I'm in now. The CRSH.
No, but there's another one. It's just CR, not CR.sh. So if you go down to the bottom of that, go down
so
to the bottom of the SH, just scroll down to the bottom, you'll see where it actually starts doing work. So see how it's like CR package, CR index.
That's not like just a release of this thing here, is it? It's not like a binary.
I don't know. That's the, because it looks like it's something else.
Let's have a look.
Actually running the entire.
What's that? Sorry, Ben? I couldn't hear.
So the entire program itself is a shell script.
Right, except for that call to like CR index, CR upload.
Yeah, actually,
that's where that's what we have to figure out, where that CR is, if it's another shell script or if it's, oh, I found it. So if you go to Helm/chart releaser is the repo.
Okay.
So go up to the Helm, you'll see the chart release. There it is, second one. And then there's this is a Golang. So I wonder how messy it is.
Let's have a look. CR.
Yeah, look at main, maybe. Oh,
I think they use it.
That's the thing I hate about Go. It's.
I think it's because they're using Cobra for the CLI. So if I go, I mean, oh yeah, they are using Cobra because it's got the root command, and then you go to the other command. So that will say, get the config, probably using Viper, execute, and then the 4 commands that they have, index, which is the one we're concerned with. So we could either just simply fork this, or we could PR it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's just something in here that's just not documented.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
that
maybe
that's in the Golang program, but not in the action.
Yeah, okay. So they're using like another command or another parameter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you mean. We can look at this because it probably like, oh, we can either do it now, or Ben and I can do it after.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be that push command, push index.yaml to
the GitHub pages branch, but I think that does it to its own, that specific repo's GitHub pages. It didn't seem to do it to
index
external.
Upload.
Right. But I figured the worst case scenario would be that we create the index.yaml in each of the poly repos, and then we have another shell script and just merge them, because they're not that complicated.
What we can also maybe consider is doing the indexer for each poly repo, and then in the Ortelius we have essentially a Helm of Helm. So we have a Helm chart that simply references those URL, because in Helm you can reference the URL for that chart as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't realize you could reference the
Yeah.
URL.
You can, yeah. So,
Yeah, because we're gonna need a parent Helm chart that includes the
yeah,
child Helm charts as well. So we're gonna need that anyways. So
yeah. So, yes. Okay. So that we're gonna the action's gonna make that in the GitHub pages anyway, right? So that could possibly be GitHub pages, that.
well, the interesting thing is if you look at the index.yaml that was generated for Ortelius, it references like the
The
releases
reference is like
directory.
this, the release.
Yeah, the download.
Because Emmett and I, hey, Emmett, we were talking about this yesterday as well.
folks.
Hey,
Yeah.
so it's
We're just talking about the chart releaser for the artifact hub to get all of.
so go to Ortelius in the GitHub pages branch.
Yeah.
Yep, that one.
And
then flip over to that. Now, if you look at the index.yaml there, it has, it's packaging up, like you said, the URLs over under the downloads already. Yeah, exactly. Now, if we run the GitHub action and the poly repos, we'll get the same. The packaging will be there. We'll just, and we'll actually get an index.yaml over on that side, but we can ignore that YAML, or we merge it over on this side.
Yeah. So are we saying that we would, each poly repo, we use this to build this artifact, and then we have a small script that does a PR to update Ortelius Helm chart with that new artifact?
Run that by me again.
So, if we, sorry, I like my
I like
J's
this
paint.
painting of his. He just loves MS Paint.
It's just nice and simple. So, okay, let's say we have Ortelius repo.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and then we have
You're gonna have the next one will be like text file
Ortelius
as well.
yeah, text file MS or whatever we call
Yeah.
it. And then, okay, we have a GitHub action that's running here. So
Right.
GitHub action, it's going to build the YAML, the index.yaml.
Right. It'll build
with the URL.
It would build the index.yaml and the download.
Releases. Yeah,
the
downloads.
releases, exactly.
Oh, yeah, okay. The I, because it goes in the release, true, yeah. Okay, so that, and then that, I don't really need that box, but let's just put GitHub action. So our goal is to have these together as one Helm chart and artifact hub. So no one needs to know what text file MS does. They just need to know they want it. The goal is to install Ortelius seamlessly.
Right. Yeah. And if when we go in and install Ortelius, my assumption was that we would need to have a parent Helm chart and then the children Helm chart. So a chart of charts, basically.
Yeah.
That's what my assumption was. But if there's a different way to do it, that I'm totally open to that. But I was assuming the way we would have to consolidate would be the chart of charts route.
Yeah, and Emmett, you were talking about the Helm with the URL last night, weren't we?
Yeah, so I think what Steve is saying is right. So it's best to do chart of charts and then put a dependency in there and dump in all the other files.
Yeah.
You can also have configuration like I showed you yesterday, where you can enable each of the charts or disable them individually if based on what is required for installation.
Okay.
Yeah. So are we saying then in that case that yeah, we're going to have to make changes to the Ortelius Helm chart to have the parent chart and then the other ones underneath it.
Well, I think we wouldn't have to have the charts themselves underneath it. I think we would just
The reference. Yeah,
the
yeah.
charts
So it's
over on through the GitHub URL.
Yeah. The GitHub, okay, that's fine. And then in that case, then let's say we make a change to this, specifically, you know, the new release. So it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's
So let's say we
change the value.
we get a new tag. So we have a new values with a new tag.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Let's say there's an update.
And yeah, so we have tag equals 5, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that happens, the GitHub action should kick in and rebuild the index.yaml and the the new release in the downloads.
Yeah, but then this reference would be like 0.1.1. So that would have to be updated on here. That's what this problem we need to solve now, right?
Yeah, that would be the problem, is that they're out of sync now.
Yeah, so like would this last step, like assuming that that builds correctly, maybe the last step of this is to do a commit to the Ortelius to change. Maybe we have a values.yaml here that says oh no, you wouldn't need a values.value. Yeah, it would actually be in the chart, but you would essentially this little script or whatever would just update, do a PR to that and update the number.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do we want to do that? Is that a PR? We just do a commit programmatically.
We could probably just skip the PR and just push directly against that branch.
Yeah, on because on the GitHub, yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we can just, yeah, that's right. We don't actually want it. In the GitHub pages, it's isolated from our code anyway. So yeah. So then, yeah, of course, we wouldn't want to waste our time manually doing PRs.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we can think about some sort of like, maybe the only thing that I could think of is some sort of run some test cases or something down the track as a phase 2 to just confirm that what we're updating doesn't in fact break this whole thing.
Right, but we could do that on a GitHub action level on the pages down the road. On the Ortelius side.
Yeah, so when commit to main or master, I think it is on this case, it triggers a pipeline just to do a sanity check. If it fails, then it rolls back the change or something like that, something fancy.
Yeah, the other thing is Ortelius or Deploy Hub can pick up the changes to the charts and do the deployments to the Azure cluster. Well, and that's where we'll have Argo in place as well to watch for the charts. So we'd use our Argo captain in Ortelius process, our GitOps process, to monitor this and push the changes over to our dev environment.
Yeah, this is quite cool. This is quite
now the only other thing I could think of would be instead of on that little script to update iterate the version number, is we just do a merge of the index.yaml and do a full merge of the index.yaml and push over the TGZ files for the charts themselves under Ortelius.
Yeah.
It's a little more heavy weighted, but it's all centralized then.
Yeah, it's not in the source code. The releases are in the source code anyway. They're separate, so we don't really care how much stuff we. So you're saying put all of those artifact files under the same release in Ortelius. Yeah. I think that's nice and clean because it's a source of truth for a release if someone does need to debug or wants compliance or I don't know, whatever use case they have. I'm sure there's some more.
The other, this quite isn't another option. It's not quite 100% of the source of truth, but you can get a little bit out of sync, but I don't think we'd have to worry about it. So on like the text file MS, the GitHub action would be just to do a commit of the chart itself underneath the Ortelius GitHub pages. So we literally just push all the charts over there. And once that commit happens, then the action on the Ortelius side goes ahead and builds the index.yaml locally.
Yeah, it's reaching the same goal.
Maybe just easier.
Yeah, let me think about that. Like,
can you repeat?
So can I repeat it and then I can know if I
Yeah.
understood what you're saying? So what we're saying, instead of using the Helm release package, what we're doing now to create the artifacts and the index.yaml for the metadata, we're simply just going to move the whole Helm chart underneath Ortelius so that we're skipping the Helm release part, but we're just moving the manifest files for Helm over to the Ortelius repo. Is that correct?
On the fly.
On the fly, yeah.
Okay. So,
and then once they hit the Ortelius repo under the GitHub pages, then we go ahead and, or wherever we decide we could do another branch or whatever, that we would then create the update the GitHub pages branch with all the details by running the chart releaser.
I think I do like that because we don't have to stuff around and do GitHub pages for each poly repo, which is sort of time consuming and manual.
Yeah.
So possibly that way, even though it doesn't sound like it's clean, it's still reaching our goal, which is to know the source of truth of our code. We're using microservices, so we're only updating that repo, and then it simply just hosts in GitHub pages on Ortelius.
So what are we trying to achieve though? Like I understood what
what we're trying to achieve is one-stop shop for Ortelius deployment. So we want to be able to deploy Ortelius. All the poly repos obviously have Helm charts in those repos, and we want it to be easy artifact hub pointing to just one of these. So if I want to go to artifact hub to install Ortelius, it's points to that mono repo, which mono and poly doesn't matter. It's just that it's indexed in one place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So why are we copying files on the fly though? So that part I not.
So we can what? Sorry.
No, I was going to say we can directly reference the other repos from the main Ortelius repo, right?
So you're saying that this is so that's one way, and you're saying the other way is that in the Helm chart we use the URL for that Helm chart into the poly. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, and the issue with that was having to iterate the version number every time one of the microservices gets built.
Yes, because you're still going to have to update Ortelius one way or another. So both of them are no better than each other, but it's like what is the sort of, I guess, cleanest, neatest way to do it? So we can either update the URLs or we can just simply copy the whole, which is just small text files, right? Like, it's checking it. There's, I don't know, I don't have a preference. I don't really care, but I would, in my opinion, at this stage, I would probably vote for moving over the actual just files itself, because then you don't have to create the GitHub pages, and then you don't have to run. But do you know what I mean of it?
I did not get the last part. So you don't have to create the GitHub pages, meaning?
Yeah. So with the Helm package releaser, what essentially that, obviously you already know this, but I'll just say it again. But the GitHub action will package the Helm chart into artifacts
Yeah.
and then index that metadata into an index.yaml file. So it says, this is my metadata, this URL or this artifact is in fact this Helm chart. So you have to, the steps to do that is you have to set up a GitHub Pages branch in each repo. You have to set up the GitHub action that will package your charts and index it. The limitation is that it only indexes it to the poly repo. It doesn't have the capability to update the mono repo, which is what we would like. And excuse me for using mono and repo, that doesn't actually matter in this case, but
It's easier to just think of.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's like we have the one thing for a fact that we need to do at the moment is update the mono repo metadata or chart information. So there's two ways of doing it, probably more, but the two ways we come up with at the moment is, and there's a third option as well, is that we investigate, can we do a pull request to the actual Helm release that will actually enable that capability of what we actually want to achieve, which is probably like the coolest way. I propose we at least, I can make an issue in the Helm release to say this is what we want to achieve. If we get some good feedback from that, if we don't, then we simply just make our own little script.
Sounds good.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm just trying to look at other artifacts which only provide this capability, like NRI bundle, which I showed you yesterday. So I'm just trying to see what they have done right now.
Yeah, they might not have used the Helm chart packager or something. So yeah, it's it would be nice if the action just did it automatically. That would be the ideal. Then we wouldn't have to worry about maintaining the script and things like that.
Right.
So just
Yeah,
just hold on a second. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
definitely. Yep.
So this is NRI bundle. This is New Relics chart, and what they do is this is the chart of charts where they are including multiple charts in it.
Right.
And is this is the metadata that you're talking about, right? Or
that's the README. So the metadata is a index.yaml. So this is the Helm chart.
Yeah.
This doesn't actually have an index in this case. So so they're not using probably it doesn't. Yeah. So it looks like what they're actually doing is they're making a Helm chart repo only for Helm charts. Instead of having it in the mono repo, they're just having a Helm chart repo and they're just simply updating the Helm chart.
Yeah. So what here you can see that what they use is NRI bundle, and they have their requirements.yaml, which is their dependencies. And here they mention all the functions as we had discussed before. And you can either do it via file or you can actually do it via URL as well. So this is consistently what I found in most of the places. This is what is used, this format. So that way you're just splitting up.
Can you please go to that cube state metrics? I'd just be interested to see what's in that directory, just for more.
That's a separate Helm chart itself. So this is a Helm chart in itself, and if I go into the Helm chart,
so it looks like that's pointing to the root directory of that specific chart. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Could be a different branch, maybe.
Sorry, which branch is that?
Oh no, I don't know. I'm just.
No, it should have been, yeah.
Yeah, so the Helm chart is not kept with the source code.
Yeah,
no,
correct. They've separated it, yeah.
So they've separated out.
So there are times what happens is the Helm chart is written completely different person as well. So it's not necessarily
Mm.
So
Right.
that's the reason why it ends up getting split up at times.
Yeah, like that way's that's like option 3, because I guess how mono do you want the Ortelius repo to be? Like how much, like, is it even a best practice? Yeah, I don't know. It is, a one-stop shop is good, and then at the same time, split out is
Yeah,
good
we
too.
do.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, we do. Well, we don't necessarily, we need a one-stop shop, but it doesn't necessarily need to be in the Ortelius repo.
Mm.
Okay.
We could do this. And the only reason why we're using the Ortelius repo is to utilize GitHub pages. Now we can do a, you don't have to use GitHub pages. You could just use any web server, and point Artifact Hub to that web server. So we do have our website. So we could actually do this under our website repo as well, which may give us some more flexibility in that, because we can, strip off version numbers and things like that in file names and things like that if we need to. So that may be another option, is instead of trying to use GitHub pages, that we would just use the main trunk of the website as what to point Artifact Hub to.
Yeah. There's a few ways. They all do the same
Yeah.
thing. Like which
And
one is the best?
at the end of the day, we need a way to just serve up the index.yaml and where the charts are going to get downloaded from.
Yeah, because the NRI bundle also has the option of directly using the charts in itself. So they, let me quickly share my screen again. So here, for example, they also do have the option of having the gzard files themselves, as you can see here. So they have packaged at times directly into the charts folder and dump any specific chart into this if required.
Oh yeah, that's right. You run the Helm package command to generate those.
Yeah. So that's what they have done as well. So you either can use the requirements or a combination of both, or specifically one of them if you want.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But I definitely think I definitely think we need the chart of charts.
Yeah.
That's definitely a given. It's just a matter of how we reference the subcharts.
Yeah.
Is going to be the
and
interesting part.
update it as well. It's really the updating part that.
Yeah.
How about I just task Ben with this next week, and then we just see what he comes up with. Like he can present a couple of ways.
Okay.
Yeah. How does that sound, Amit?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I think you got an introduction to Ben as well before, Steve. Did you?
Yeah. This is the first time I met him in person, but I've been over talking to him over Discord. So.
Yeah. He works in my team, so I'm like managing his like work tickets, and then I manage his open source stuff as well, just so he doesn't go to like I'm going to spend all my time working in open source.
Right.
Yeah. So I can like assign this to him as well. He's a really smart person. So. Yeah.
It was disappointing to see that the parameter that looked like it was going to solve our problems it was reversed.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
Okay.
What's that, sorry?
What looked amazing? What have you done?
So in the Helm packager, when you create your metadata and your artifact, it then said what is the chart URL that you want. We were thinking that the the chart URL you could specify that to any repo, and then that would update the index of one place that does everything for us, but it didn't do it like that.
Got it.
Yeah. It was actually reversed.
Yeah. But yeah, let's leave Ben.
There may be a way we could use that as a solution as well, where you update the microservice repo, and then you use like a GitHub action to go tell the mono repo to go ahead and cruise through and grab all the charts from all the repos. It's not as elegant, but it may be an alternative.
Yeah, you almost we almost need a pipeline that makes the pipelines for when we do have a new repo, it actually automatically does all this as well.
Yeah.
Like a template would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Updates the docs. That will be a good little task for like a good first issue type task for someone to do.
Yeah. And anything else on that? You're gonna
No, I think like we really want to solve this artifact hub because that's going to make all of our application sets so easy just to reference.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we're going to have a few issues like once we start deploying these deployments, and then we will just make issues for other people to help us, solve like the silly one, like that values file needs this image tag or something like that.
Yeah.
So I anticipate like maybe 10 errors, but then we're pretty close to getting it spun up and working.
Yeah. So let me share my screen real quick.
And the only other,
this is what Sasha's been working on.
Oh wow, this is quite awesome.
So this is the whole process. This is just for CI, the dev CI. So we have our developers here with their beers. And then we do the check-in, and then Captain gets kicked off. You do the build, you do a bunch of stuff. Then you go over and tell Ortelius to do its stuff. And then eventually it comes back. Ortelius interacts back with GitHub. Argo picks up those changes. And then once Argo's done, we go back and tell Captain that we're done here. So this is still a little bit of a work in progress. We're working on rolling this into the documentation as a proposal. And then there's all the Captain stuff as well. And this is just like page one. We're going to do QA and production because the number of steps is slightly different. On whether you're doing builds or not builds and things like that. But it's pulling together. We're getting there.
Yeah, I think this is great. The only feedback I have is that the colors are a bit overwhelming. So if they were a little bit lighter in the eyes, would be nice. Like just a really tinted color instead of a wacky pink and crazy green. But I guess
that's what you get for sending a South American, South African to work on it.
Yeah, no, but it's awesome. I like the workflow of the arrows and stuff is really good.
So, but that's coming just to give you the heads up.
Yeah, that was quite cool. Okay, cool. And then the only other thing just to bring up quickly is we still do have 2 clusters running. Just to always think about it, do we want to ditch one?
I'm gonna get close to that. We're doing testing right now, and I would say after we get the testing done, that we can flip over and just get rid of one of them.
Yeah, because there's pros and cons of my one, because my one's set for production, so it's not as easy for like new developers to come and the API Kubernetes API server is not exposed to the world, so it's a private cluster. So maybe that's one of the pros and cons at the same time, because it's safer,
right.
But we're doing open source anyway, so like everyone can see the code anyway. We're not exactly it's not in a customer account. Maybe that setup can be for a customer for deploy hub. Maybe that can be the deploy hub version, and then the other clusters more like the open source type thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah, like you can keep that for your commercial aspect of what you're working on.
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm estimating we'll probably have the 2 clusters running for at least another month, maybe 2.
Yeah. I just wanted to make you aware of that. There is to it. Yeah, you obviously know, but it's always worth bringing up pricing.
Oh yeah.
To consider. Yeah.
I think our subscription goes through June. I had to double check when
Yeah.
it got renewed. So, and then
Yeah,
we'll
I
have
tried to put
figure out what to
I
do with the Linux Foundation from there.
yeah, I tried to put alerts on it, but it said because it's one of those like sponsored subscriptions, you're not allowed to. So that was a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, they limit you on some
So,
things,
yeah, I
which is
couldn't
weird.
put billing alerts on for some weird reason.
Yeah, they kind of hide things from you, let you just go crazy, and then you've
Sorry, my
then they
internet's
send
gone.
you a very big bill at when your subscription runs out.
Yeah, it's not very nice.
Well, I think we're making great progress. And let's keep me in the loop. I'm going to be at the Linux Foundation Leadership Summit early next week. So if there's anybody that we need to reach out over there, you know, like from Captain or Argo or wherever, just drop me a note.
Yep.
I'll see if who we need to, or from the Helm side.
Sorry, my
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
sorry,
breaking
my
apart.
sorry, my internet's going bad. Is that the Linux Foundation Member Summit?
Yeah, the one in Napa.
Oh, cool. The Napa Valley.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that sounds quite cool. I might come next time.
It's a good one. It's an invite only though, so we got to get you in
Okay, cool. Sorry,
on the
my
list.
internet's going. I might run off.
All right.
Cool.
Later, guys.
Ciao.
Thanks.
Sorry, guys.